Hi everyone, welcome to John Sadler's Auto Repair. Today we have a 2001 Hyundai Santa Fe 2.4 liter. Customers complain it's a rough engine idle, poor performance, a lag or hesitation when she starts to accelerate on the freeway. It's got 95,000 miles on it, and we found some concerns. We had a code P0171, bank lean, system lean. So I did some investigation, looked at the codes. They talked about leaking fuel injectors, restricted fuel filter, low fuel pressure. Everything's checking out good on this car. When we started doing some physical examination, that's when we found the problems, and I'll show you now. I removed the air filter from the housing, and if you look at the filter, you can see this side of the filter here where the gasket isn't even on. And it's supposed to look like this side, where the gasket meets flush. So what that's allowing to happen is dirt is running right past the side of this, and it's sucking it directly into the engine and here, into this port inside of here. So next thing we did is we removed the spark plug, and I noticed when I was looking at the engine that there's some oil buildup on the corners here, the valve cover gasket. It's what's called seeping or weeping. It's not just pouring oil out of it, it's just starting to go bad. So I took a spark plug out. It's got an NGK spark plug in there. The gap is 57 thousandths. It's supposed to be 44. And then the spark plug that's in there is an iridium spark plug, and the spark plug it's supposed to have is a platinum spark plug. So I've got some platinum spark plugs, the proper ones coming for it, to replace those. And we can't see with this light, but when I look down inside the combustion chamber, down inside of here, I don't have a light so you can see in there, but there's a bunch of carbon on top of the piston. So the engine's idling rough. I looked at the mass airflow sensor. The connection of the mass airflow sensor had some buildup inside of here, and it was just kind of wet. So I took some electrical contact cleaner and fixed that. Then when it's idling, I'm watching it run in idle. In the fuel trim, I have it written down here. At idle was minus 12.5%. Then it was 5.5% at 2,500 RPM. Cleaning up the mass airflow sensor made no difference whatsoever. And that one doesn't have much you can really clean up, just the connection in there. Then as it was idling, I looked over here where we have our light pointed. You can see how the PCV valve hose here is nice and round. Excuse me. Then if you look at the side here, this hose is all sucked in. So the positive crankcase ventilation system can't work. So the unburned fuel that's inside here and the unburned gases, unburned oil inside of here is supposed to recirculate back through the intake manifold and reburn. So one of the problems that can happen when this hose is collapsed and it can't do that, we're going to get too much internal pressure in this crankcase, in this whole system. So that could be the reason why this valve cover is seeping out of the corners here, because it's got so much pressure, because it can't relieve the pressure by sucking it back to the intake manifold, because this hose is so flattened out, that is so damaged and sucked in, that's what the problem is. So the reason I'm making this video is to show everybody. People will show you fuel injectors, a new fuel pump, all kinds of servicing. But you have to think about what the code is, when is the problem, why is the fuel trim okay when you start to pick up the RPM a little bit. So with that hose being collapsed in there and too much crankcase pressure, and when PCV valves aren't working, we know we get a rough engine idle, we know we get too much internal crankcase pressure, the emissions can't work properly because it can't reburn that unburned fuel and unburned oil. So it's a huge problem. So I've got a new PCV valve, a new grommet, and a new hose coming from Hyundai, because I like to use manufactured parts on this type of repair because they fit properly and they last a long time. But she's had this problem for a while now. That hose has probably been collapsed 10,000 miles. So we're going to put the right spark plugs in it. I put a new air filter in it. I made sure the air filter fit down inside the housing so the air filter is not damaged. You know, why are you going to pay someone to do that kind of stuff like that for you, to suck dirt in your engine the moment you leave the repair facility? So that's a little tip from John Sadler. Look at the freeze frame data, look at my videos on YouTube. There's some other good automotive videos. And look at what the freeze frame data on the trouble code is. You can send me an email if you have a question. I'll try and answer it for you. But you have to be very careful when you're diagnosing it. We got a $15 hose and a $22 air filter is the main culprit why this vehicle is running bad, and it has the wrong spark plugs in it with too high of a gap. So thank you very much. Have a great day.